So, as you guys could tell from that, I'm done with Vanguard as a whole. It's off my console, and I'm better for it because my PS5 only got to 800 gigabytes, and I could use those 100 that are no longer going to be dedicated to Vanguard, which is absolutely great. But I thought I'd just make one final video on the game, and originally, I was going to talk about the entire game, including multiplayer and campaign, but what could I really say about those? I mean, it's a Call of Duty campaign. There's nothing much to say there. I don't go into depth in those. I play them with my brain turned off. I can't really tell you any deep critique about them. And then multiplayer, I haven't played in like 10 months. So I can't really tell you much about that either. So I thought we'd just talk about its worst mode. Yeah, Vanguard Zombies. Yeah, so this has been interesting, and it was terrible from the get-go. Never really that many bright spots throughout this year of zombies. I mean, it started off with Unsealing, which was just a bunch of reused multiplayer maps, or in some cases reused campaign maps, but they were reused like one-to-one. Sure, they changed a couple of the aesthetics, but really the layout and everything was identical, which was interesting to say the very least. And that wasn't even the worst of it. I mean, one of the other major problems with this is that it wasn't round-based and was objective-based, and as someone who actually liked Outbreak in Cold War, this wasn't the end of the world to me. But at the end of the day, Zombies at its heart and soul is round-based, and you cannot release a COD Zombies game without round-based. I don't care how good Outbreak was or how good this could have been in Vanguard, even if it was the greatest, the perfect objective-based game mode, which it was far from it, but even if it was, it still would have been a humongous letdown. But as I said, it wasn't even close to perfect because there were so many problems. The new perk system was just so freaking expensive, and all the things they brought over from Cold War were okay, but they were kind of clunky here and there because they weren't a new engine and all that. And of course, kind of the biggest problem with the launch of this game, and kind of like the major things that people were talking about around the launch of this game with Fong, was the fact that there was no main Easter egg, or heck, there weren't even any side Easter eggs. There wasn't a wonder weapon, and to really stress how bad the launch of this game was, the game didn't even launch with a Pack-a-Punch camo, guys. Not even a Pack-a-Punch camo. Like, what are we doing? Who greenlit this and let this come out in a game? Like, oh my gosh, this has had to be an alpha stage of a game, and it launched with the actual game, which is mind-blowing to me on every level. But you know, they did it anyways, and it sucked. Let's be honest, it was the worst experience we've ever had. And for some reason, they decided to continue to update this game, because if I was personally in charge of all this, I mean, I wouldn't have let this even happen to begin with. I don't even know why we're making Treyarch work on someone else's game. Like, that idea is stupid on so many levels. Not even to mention that Treyarch was already just wrapped up their own game, and all of a sudden now they're told they have to work on Sledgehammer games. Like, besides the dumbness and the idea of this as a whole, but if we assume that already happened and then I became in charge there, I personally will just cancel this game mode. But they didn't, and they released something called Terra Maldicta, and I'll be honest, Terra Maldicta was better than Fong. It wasn't nearly as bad, but it was still objective based, and it wasn't really that fun. The objectives still weren't that fun. There wasn't that many of them, and we were still playing on reused campaign and multiplayer maps. Like, it wasn't really that great. Sure, there was the Dark Aether Arena. That was original. Credit to that, but it wasn't very cool looking, and it looked really dead, which I get was the point of it, but hey, it's still not exactly what we want out of what we get inside these. But of course, to also give credit to Terra Maldicta, it did have main Easter eggs, side Easter eggs, wonder weapons, and even a Pack-a-Punch camo. That was impressive. I do give it credit for that, but again, it just wasn't that fun. Like, it wasn't. Like, nobody was having fun on Terra Maldicta, and if you did, I don't think you exist. You may just be a bot, but, you know, if you did, not to hurt your feelings, but it sucked. It was still terrible. But because of the continuous bad feelings people had towards this, and because of the stubbornness of not just canceling this Zombies game mode, they decided to switch gears here. This B team for Treyarch, they decided, you know what, we're probably actually going to do round-based after all. And this, of course, gave us Shinonuma Reborn. And I'ma be honest, there is fun to be had on Shinonuma Reborn. Its main Easter egg has some good things that happen. It's incredibly short, and it's drawn out solely because of the fact that you have to get to round 15 to actually do the Easter egg. But hey, it's fun sometimes. Maybe it's not the worst Easter egg, but I feel like personally I've seen many custom maps do a better version of Easter eggs. But hey, you know what? It was there. Its boss fight happened too. I mean, it wasn't really much of a boss fight either, but hey, it was an experience, guys, and you could have fun with Shinonuma Reborn. And you know what? If Shinonuma Reborn came out during like 2010, it would have been a good map. It would have. Just unfortunately, we're in the year 2022. You know, it's always a kind of difficult to really impress anybody with this. But as I said, there was fun to be had here. And of course, with the conclusion of Shinonuma, it brought us to our final map that we got with Vanguard Zombies. And it was Terra Maledicta Remastered. Yeah, we got a remake of a map that came out the exact same year. Yeah, Terra Maledicta came out like in spring of 2022, and then we got Terra Maledicta remake in the summer of 2022. Don't know exactly how that happened, but hey, it got remastered, and I guess technically it got a new name. It was called the Archon, so I guess we should refer to it as Archon. And I'ma be honest, the Archon felt like a worse version of Shinonuma Reborn. Like, it was playing on a map that already came out that year, which wasn't really that great, and its Easter egg was a lot of just reused objectives from the objective game mode, which isn't really that great. Personally, I didn't really like the challenges all too much, and there really wasn't much to them. There wasn't much solving to them. It was just kind of completing 3 trials and then you go boss fight. And that is probably the bright spot of the entirety of the season, the boss fight of the Archon, because in this boss fight we have a Cortifex boss fight. And I know people like to hate on this boss fight, but I feel like people are getting blinded by their overall hate towards Vanguard and its systems and its maps, and just misdirect that hate towards the boss fight. Because if we are being honest, the boss fight actually isn't that bad. It's one of the better COD Zombies boss fights we've ever got. And I don't know if that's saying a lot about the Cortifex boss fight, or if it's saying how poor boss fights have been in COD Zombies. I'll let you guys answer that. But regardless, this boss fight was like literally the only time I had fun playing this game. I really didn't have fun playing it at any other point. It was solely this boss fight that I was playing and saying, this is really cool. But besides that, the entire season of this Zombies game mode was the worst we've ever got. So where does that leave Vanguard Zombies? Well, to me, it just don't count. I mean, this year's Zombies just doesn't count as a Treyarch year to me personally. You could disagree if you want, but I really don't know why you would count it so much. I mean, we all know the terrible situation Treyarch was put into. They were literally working on their own game before this one came out, and they probably had like a month or two to work on this. And on top of that, it wasn't even the normal Zombies team, and on top of that, it wasn't even their own game. They had to get used to a whole engine and everything. Like, there was just everything going against them, and it was never really going to be successful in any way, shape, or form. So to me, I don't judge Treyarch by this. Like, it just isn't a true Treyarch year. So to me, I don't even count it. And really, that's why I'm not really worried about the future of Zombies. I thought Cold War was pretty fun, and they only had just over a year to develop that, and then they're going to have 4 years to develop their next game. Like, that just makes me excited for it. But regardless though, that's going to wrap up this video. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on the whole current situation of Vanguard Zombies and also the future of Zombies. I'd love to hear all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Regardless though, that's going to wrap it up for me. If you guys did enjoy the video, definitely do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and all that great stuff. But I'm going to go, and I'll catch you guys next stream, video, or whatever the heck it may be. And laters, guys.